of Ares, we have 3, Reihin, Miyuzi, I hope I'm still saying that right. I'm going to double check that with the translator when I get the time, and Eric. So you saw these guys play last week against, I do believe it was Anomaly, and they played absolutely phenomenal. So you can only hope that they really keep up the progress that they've been doing for the past week. But on the killer side, you have Weary. So Weary's been around for a while. You may have even remembered him as Grim. I swear there was like 4 Grims in the OCE region at one point. So yeah, just like a well-known Blight main uh, throughout back in the day. Or definitely I remember. So nevertheless, we'll be loading in. Hopefully he pulls a good result spawning on the top side of the map over at the 11 portion, and I assume we're just going to take our bumps here, and we're opting to go behind main all the way down to one kind of interesting path to take, maybe trying to catch somebody off guard around the 3 section of the map, and just going to be looking around this edge map at the moment. And I don't know, like usually you would presume that if you spawn top side, the survivor's going to spawn bottom side. If you spawn the bottom side, the survivor's going to spawn the top side. No, so bit of unconventional pathing, taking the long scenic route to get to the bottom side of the map now, looking over towards 6 and mid 6, and we're not really spotting anybody out at the moment. We don't even see any scratch marks. We did see that they all spawned roughly around that 6 to 5 area, so some pretty good stealth not to be able to be found right off the bat, but I guess we're just going to be breaking this door as well. It's usually something you see every killer do when loading into the gas haven, and yeah, still really struggling. They're actually playing this really well, the Chinese goats. I can't lie. They just one in the basement as well. So playing uber stealth, uber slow, and I think we might have spotted Reihin, and no, we've opted to go all the way to the 7 portion of the map because, you know, we just didn't see him at this point in time. So again, no gen pressure for all of this stealthing. Corrupt is about almost around that 40-second mark, I do believe, somewhere around there. But I mean, yeah, again, just a very slow game. Usually you'd find like your chase straight off the bat, but usually the survivors play a little bit more aggressive here. So you know, all things considered, I feel like they definitely have the upper hand here. Ares choosing to play a lot more slower and rotate all the way to the top side. We do see Muzi just sitting over at the corner of 3, and 3 himself over at 3, or more side of the 2 side of the map, and he is the Deja player. We do have our stealthing survivor in the basement as well with medkit in hand now. For some reason it was on the floor. I think we'll be doing pick up item, drop item, pick up item, drop item to get rid of the idle crows. Actually, I'm not too sure if that's even how they work anymore because we've disabled the idle crows, but nevertheless, we do see Raheen finally on a generator, and Weir's just going to opt to go all the way down to 3 now, and hopefully we can find somebody just out of position. Again, just really struggling to find anybody. It's kind of like some cat jam stealth, some old school cat jam stealth for all of you who remember back in the glory days. Nevertheless, Weir is going to go all the way back down to 3. He did see some scratch marks, but he's not going to opt to chase that person. He's going to go for 3, and he's going to be slapping the pallet in his face. That's going to allow him to buy enough distance to reach all the way down to the front of main, and I don't think he really makes the pallet just yet. He's just going to be getting tagged through that, and just, oh, it's a little bit of a waste of a resource because we've sacrificed a lot of distance doing that, and the stun didn't really aid us in that situation, but he's just going to take chase all the way in main. This was an active generator, so he hopefully was on top of his comms and told his teammates, hey, please get off the generator, I need this loop, and Weary's struggling to get around this middle tile, and now with that pallet thrown, and we're going to be insta-breaking that, so the weak tile gone, and all resources inside of main have been used, and this will help Weary in the later game once that generator is done and finished, and survivors will be looping around the main building. But I do think we're going for a 2-1 split on the generators. Correct me if I'm wrong. As we get the pickup here, we do see Nicholas Cage Muzi just rotating for the pull. We see Nia in the background working a generator, and we do see Raheen working another generator. So they could have actually been 3 splitting. I just didn't really manage to quite get enough intel on that, but nevertheless, yeah, really good start from the survivors at Ares. Halo, what do you think?
Yeah, they stealthed for so long, and then they obviously got that first chase going. Because they stealthed for so long, I believe they got a little bit of free progress. So, I mean, they've already got 2 gens done. They don't really have any progress after these 2 gens are popped, but they have gotten 2 gens done for their hook, and we also do see a little bit of progress on this 2 generator. And so yeah, so a really, 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 really good start for our survivor side, I would say. I think stealthing there was definitely the right play. I wish some insane stealth, it's a really good skill to have. I know that some people like Burrito are very good at stealthing. But anyway, um, we are going to be seeing the chase onto Free here, and we're messing up our rushes. I know that Wary was a very, very old killer main. I think he played for a team called Carnage, I believe. And he kind of had a break, and then he kind of came back. And but from what I know, he was a very, very OG good killer main. And I believe he played Survivor at one point as well. But we do see the tag onto Free here. He's gonna make his way to the 1 side of the map. I mean, sorry, the 11 side of the map, and we are just going to be going down. So that's very unfortunate. Sadly, there's nothing really close next to that very bad filler. So unfortunately, we are going to see that quick down, and it's going to be at a very good hook right in front of the main building. So we are gonna see that hook onto Free. I believe this is gonna be a tunnel out, and I'd say that chase was fairly quick, I would say, but we do have some decent progress. I mean, I think really because of the start has really influenced how well these how good the gem progression is, as they have some really decent progress, as we do find Eric here just caught way off guard, and that's going to be a free tag for Wary, although they still have such good decent progress. If Free can just live like just 30 seconds, I think this might just be like a really good result. But oh my god, we've gone all the way to the 2 side of the map, and we have caught this survivor, this Nicolas Cage, off guard next to the hook. So very unlucky. We do see the reset onto Eric. I'm not too sure if that was I believe it might have been a med kit, or maybe not. I'm not too sure. But we also do see Unbreakable on our down survivor right there. And yes, Eric did reset with a med kit. And maybe we're just gonna camp to a death. But the survivors have such decent progress, Hunter. I don't know what they're gonna do.
It just seems that the game's actually fallen back into the hands of Weary here, in all honesty. He's just being able to take control over after getting that down all the way over at the 2 side, and that's a rotate for the pickup. Actually, there's adequate gen pressure, so, all things considered, the survivors are out of that, like, kind of rough situation. We do have a lot of progress over at 2 as well, and the chase going all the way on the other side of the map. This is our tunnel out, so we want to get him out of the game as soon as possible to play the 3v1 at 1 generator remaining, but this down has to happen now. He can't mess this rush up, and like clockwork, he does get it. So that's going to be the pick onto 3. No DS there. They're going for opting for a triple. Wait, they actually might pop this generator. And if they do, that is going to spell a world full of trouble for Weary. He's going to be rushing over there. Doesn't make it in time. My God. So wait, they just committed the shit out of all the generators just right underneath our nose. I mean, who would have thought, realistically? I just think maybe after the slow-paced game and him just not being able to capitalize, like, just in the later stages of the game, did seem like it was a little bit more in his favor, when they were sitting around 2 more generators remaining, but not quite too sure how it just, slipped out of his hands. I just think maybe the survivors just were 1 step ahead all the time. So with 1 slug on the floor, we're trying to get at least 1 more on the ground as well, but I do think that was unbreakable, and oh no, he was picked up by the near Eric, so everybody will be tagged as it stands, and definitely can be snowballed in this situation. I mean, all he has to do is really get the quick tap onto Eric and just rush on the other side of the map straight after. Yep, so 3 rushes used there. He's going to be able to regenerate enough to get to the other side of the map. He's going to opt to go for the pick and the hook, which is strange. I feel like he just should have went to the other gate, but again, us as the spectators know that both survivors are on that side of the map. He does not, and Rayhin's kind of anticipating that, but he's opting to play safe and go all the way back down. The deli in the background, it was deli that was hooked, and the dead aren't coming in as well, and the beamer. Oh my God, that's absolutely crazy. You just keep in mind, everyone, that these guys are on 130, anywhere between 130 with eggs at like 144 to 180 ping. So like just being able to really hit a crucial dead hard in dying moments in the dying stages of the game like this is absolutely insane. But we'll be taking those stages out the door And at the moment, as it stands, there are 5 stages, and Miyuzi will be hooked onto this hook outside of main, and that will spell 7 stages onto them. So, all right, 7-3. That's a good result for the survivors. I can't lie. Usually with Blight, you expect somewhere along more of the higher stage phase and stuff like that, and then match before you still going on. Just ping the other team. Do you ping sets? Do you ping tests there? I mean, as we all know, DBD loves to put us on the wrong servers. So if you suspect you're on the wrong servers, and if you know you're on the wrong servers, you take a picture of the ping as evidence. You send it to the refs. You ask if you can leave the match, and when you leave, it's either a survivor fault restart, no penalty, killer fault restart, no penalty, depending on what servers you're on, and you go from there. But that's just per rule book. Anyway, we're loading in now. What do you think, Halo? What's your prediction for this game?
I think that I don't know. I think their start was just so good. I don't know if Forsaken will have as good as a start. I know that they're quite more. I know that Cooney was on Inertia, and Beast was also on Inertia. I don't really remember
They were all on
Bang.
inertia.
Or were they?
No,
Sorry.
not. I don't believe Bang and Zeki's were. I think it was it was just boosted and weary and Cooney.
Yeah, so it looks like lots of Inertia people came back, and obviously they used to be a really, really good team, and we're spectating someone else, and it looks like Cooney has been spotted out near the edge of the map. I believe that might have been Delhi, as they do have the med kit in their hands, so this is going to be a really, really quick down. This is a lot more longer, and it's the Delhi player. This is really unfortunate. Oh my god, this is that's really, really unfortunate for the Survivor side and Forsaken Hunter. And looks like we've just started generators as well.
Little bit of a spectator bug as well. Yeah, very unfortunate to be caught out on the edge map as well. We didn't even get to see it. Just unluckily. So, luckily for the Survivor, I don't think Cooney would have wanted us seeing that as well. I mean, straight off the rip, gets a hit over at the back of Shaq and then pre-drop Shaq, and that's Delhi out on the match as soon as they're down. So Boosted just stealthing around for this pull. And this is kind of how you have to play, very patiently. Gen pressure in the background, make sure Boosted doesn't get found. And we're getting awfully close to that seawall that he's hiding over at, and I do believe it's more towards this portion of the map now. Can they just play around it? We haven't seen Boosted just yet. That's phenomenal work, phenomenal stealth from the Zarina. Now, we're going to go for the pull. On the exact right time, I would say, God. So, yeah, just going to have to make sure that Cooney lasts in this chase now. He can't afford to mess up, and he only has 1 health state to work with. He's going to be pre-dropping this pallet outside of main, but there's no pallet to pre-drop. He's just going to have to play this really bad filler and play for a pallet stun. Boosted's in the vicinity, and the killer will know it. We're opted to go for a pick. This is definitely doable, and we don't make it. We're just a little too far away, because even I didn't think that NTR would just pick straight off the rip. That was kind of crazy. I mean, sort of thought they would have waited and walked around just a little bit to know that Boosted was around the corner. That was like really I don't know, big brain, big balls. I don't know what you want to call it, but nevertheless, we're going to be opting to go and see if there's anybody around the map that we can chase whilst Cooney cooks on the hook at the moment. Play for our stages, and we do see the Kate Bang, but we're not going to be chasing Bang. We're just going to be taking the kick onto 5 and going all the way back to hook and trying to secure our tunnel out. And I do presume that's what's going to be happening after the rushes come in hot. We are seeing Cooney trying to rotate over towards the main side of the building, and we're going to be playing around the endurance status effect and just vaulting this pallet on the side of main and just nowhere to go. This is just going to be a very early tunnel out. Definitely not what you need if you are to be able to match this, beat this SpinCon rather, sorry. 3 stages gone, 1 fresh. You got 3 gens remaining, the 3v1 happening at 3 gens remaining. This is going to have to be something miraculous to kind of spur in the moment for Forsaken to manage to escape this with outs and beat this WinCon. NTR just looking in a really good position at the moment, and if there's one man to do it, it is Bang. Just pre-drop on this pallet now over at mid 4, trying to make all the midfielders that he has at his disposal, not quite being able to make any. Oh, I'm lying to you guys. He slaps the pallet in NTR's face, blinds him in the process, and he's making main all day, every day. We're committing the chase as well, but the tag coming in, and we're going to be running to the side of main on the 11 side. We're committing this as well, which is quite interesting. We're not worried about the gens at all. Aside from this 1 at 11 where we're going to be kicking this, and we do see Zeki's just kind of stealth around that 11 tile, and Bang is just made absolute distance. Well, he should have made absolute distance. I do believe he was just sitting in main from what I am seeing. And, you know, Zeki's taking the chase, trying to make sure that chasing the healthy survivor is in the killer's best interest at the moment. So Bang opted to leave entirely. And now with Zeki's in chase, 2 injured on the board, this is looking extremely, extremely bad as it stands. But are we going to be able to make the window of the pallet again? We're playing this really nicely on the side of Zeki's, but she's going to go down at the pallet, unfortunately. And you know, that will be her first hook, so yeah, everything's just looking a little bit rough here, Halo. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, that tunnel out was extremely early, to be honest. Very good for our Blight player here. And now we do see Keki, I believe. I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, so I'll just call her K. But I believe she was also on Deception with me at one point. But anyway, we are going to see NTR rotating to the 6th side of the map, and we are going to be applying our eruption there. And we're going to find boosted. This is looking really dire for our survivors. I mean, we pretty much have gotten a we've found our stealth on this active generator, and we're going to be going straight down next to the generator. This isn't looking great. This is our anti-tunnel build, although which could help in later scenarios, and it looks like we've been spectated bugged again. So we are resetting right here on the hook, which is fair enough, but we're gonna give info to our killer about where we both are. So I'm not sure if it's the best play there, and especially when we're gonna be able to give when we're gonna be giving a free tag right after the hook anyway. So it's not looking great. It looks like we are going to be going for our other survivor, possibly to have more people injured. And we know that they're stuffing just around here, and NTI is going to be blocking them away from this hook, so that's fair enough. And maybe we'll see something happen, but the survivors are in a very, very weird situation, so we'll see what they do. But it does look like boosted, oh not boosted, sorry, it does look like Bang is going to be still setting up for this pool, and K is going to be going starting a generator. So I'm not too sure what they're gonna do here. Maybe they'll let her go second and start a gen. Yeah, that's looks like what they're gonna be doing. But yeah, Hunter, I don't know what they're planning to do here. I mean, the win con just does not seem in favor of Forsaken at all, especially very unfortunate because it is their pick as well.
I mean, yeah, definitely. You just kind of have to accept the fact that I do believe they've already lost, if I'm not mistaken, or coming very close to it. So they're at 6 stages, 3 fresh at the moment. So they can afford another hook on either Boosted or Zeki, but as soon as you reach Bang, that's where you lose the game. And I think at the moment, all you can really do is play for best possible result. You have 3 generators remaining in the trial, and you know, Zeki is unfortunately vaulting into the killer there, so this will be the Tycon Met soon as she's hooked, and don't believe she's out of the game just yet. Do believe she's only 2nd hook. I think it is Boosted, who is the survivor that is on death hook, but nevertheless. Yeah, you just have to kind of play for best possible result, Halo. You have to really play for that 4K1, but you know, with Boosted just getting tapped, just trying to get to the hook, unfortunately, I just don't see a world where that is feasible now. I mean, Bang being the only healthy survivor, the only survivor actually in the game at the moment. The other 2 just kind of rendered obsolete at the moment. They're just kind of one on the floor, one on the hook. It's just looking extremely dire. You know, Bruce is still kind of in this vicinity as well. It's just going to make NTR's job of camping this out just so much easier. All he has to do is just kind of sit there. And now Brewster's kind of realized that crawling away from the hook and Bang kind of having to put his generator on pause. I mean, realistically, all you could probably do was commit on the other side of the map for one more generator for the 4K2. In all honesty, with a situation like this, Zeki's just, you know, her death is imminent at the moment, and Boosted on the floor. There's not really much you can do at this point, you know. The game's very stagnant on the Survivor side, and it's just progressing ever so quickly on NTR side. You know, this is essentially as bad as having 2 dead at the moment, so he's just going to camp out the final stage of Zeki, making sure that she's out of the trial now. They're just going to be rushing to the other side of the map, suspecting that Bang would have been working this generator over at one, the furthest generator possible from the hook. And, as I said before, instead of trying to, attempting to go for the save, we should have just played for the last generator, play for the 4K2. We were trying to play for the miraculous play of pulling something out of the hat and it didn't quite work out in a favor. Now pre-dropping this pallet over at 3 and bolting it in and out, in and out. But that's just going to be a tag maybe. No, we have dodged it entirely. And it's just mighty unfortunate that this chase wasn't able to happen at the very beginning of the game, Halo. Now we're going to be taking the tag onto Beng here, who's going to be running all the way down into corner 1. And again, once more, death is just imminent at this point. You're just buying enough time to make Boosted bleed out. But Boosted's not fresh, so it's not really going to hurt the win con. Bang is fresh, though. So if Bang was to bleed out, it would hurt the win con. But again, it doesn't necessarily hurt the win con because it's already been met. So nonetheless, that will be Bang on hook and out of the game. That will be Boosted out of the game as well. So moving on into the next set. So we've already seen the Blight set. The Blight set's already gone to Ares. Now, if you're on the side of Forsaken, how do you go in and approach the next set? Because it's not your pick, right? Well, we saw them pick Hillbilly last week, and they played very well. You saw the clip of Booster just getting this absolutely ludicrous flick over at the corner of 11, I do believe, from what I saw. But you just kind of have to hope and pray that your Survivor team has a better start than what they did on the Blight game, and that your killer is able to put up a good win con as well. So NTR just really struggling to find Boosted at the moment. We just see Boosted call all the way into corner 7. Not making much noise, being Zarina and all fully recovered, but I think this has got maybe a 1.5 minute timer out. So while we do that, I think we'll pull in some statistics, which would be interesting to note, because I actually haven't seen them. I don't know who's in favor to win what, but if I had to make a guess off the top of my head, I would have said that it was 50-50. But as I'm reading right now, it's 99% in favor of Forsaken and 1% to Ares. Very interesting stuff. I mean, definitely watching this set, you would have thought maybe just even, 50-50 would have been more of a answer that we would have been guesstimating. But no, I mean, seems to be quite the opposite. Just NTR also playing really safe now, just going to be closing the hatch, and Booster going to be bleeding out on the floor. And Halo, if so, that, and obviously play stealthy. I feel like maybe they played the set a little bit too fast paced compared to Ares. Ares, I've noticed this, have played very stealth like throughout their entire matches in OSL at the moment. So definitely shows that slow and steady wins the race. Can't lie. So we do see Edwin on the Billy now, rotating towards the top side of the map. Going to check this 11 side straight up, and we aren't seeing any crossovers. No cross maps today, unfortunately, for everybody sitting at home watching. We are going to be using this hill over at deep 12 rather, to try and spot anybody stealthing out that 1 to 11 side. There is Cooney this time, just making good work of their stealth from last game. Last game they were found right off the bat, and we do have the blue saw handy at the moment, so might have seen some scratch marks from Weary leading over into 5, and we have done. So we're going to be taking the chase onto him straight up, and going to be playing around these matchstick tiles on the side of our Adam Weary. And is he going to bam the window? I do presume that is what's going to happen. It was kind of easily readable then and there, and not quite being able to make that chainsaw on the side of Edwin. It's going to allow Weary to make this car. He doesn't really have much to work with, no pallet to drop or anything of the such, and playing really patient with that chainsaw on the side of Edwin to be able to read the corner tech perfectly. Not going for any fancy flicks is what you really like to see in these Billy sets. So, that could have been really bad. But, Weary making good use of what he had. Didn't really have much to work with. But again, just not really the start that you want on the side of Forsaken Halo.
Yeah, I mean, it's more on the earlier side of downs, and it looks like Edwin is going to be catching 2 survivors off guard here, Boosted and Cooney here. We are going to be chasing boosted on that beautiful 90-degree flick right there. I would be screaming if I could, but everyone's sleeping, so I can't. That was a really good flick right there from Edwin. Super clean. Unfortunately, boosted did end up running around the pallet and not insta vaulting, which is probably would have been a little bit more ideal. But now that Cooney's been like put off of that gen and we've got this gen run to boost it, it's going to be a lot of pressure for the side of Forsaken. They might pop that one generator all the way at 11, but I don't think it's going to matter. They don't have a lot more of a progress. Edwin was able to scare Cooney off that generator, and it looks like we're still going to be seeing this from Edwin. I guess he knows that that Kate must have popped 11 and Cooney's right there, so he has a little bit of time to commit. But very early pull right there, rotated very quickly. But we are just going to be taking the hook onto boosted now. So yeah, I mean, not a bad start. The survivors are under lots of pressure right now, and I don't think they have much progress at all. I mean, this Edwin guy is insane. That flick onto boosted, oh my.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, again, they're in such a really bad position, but they've bounced back a little bit from it, boosted on the hook now and really nice and healthy at the moment. So, yeah, just got some gen pressure as well, I guess, over at 12. So you just have to really be working those back generators at the moment. They've opted to go for main. I don't really hate the idea. You just gotta hope that, like, I do believe the killer is just gonna opt to leave and maybe approach that middle generator. Is playing very defensive, and I do think just before the second stage, or at the second stage, as soon as Edwin leaves here, he's going to be interrupting that main generator. So we do have someone all the way over at Shack though, so the game is still progressing if that is the case. But this second stage is very imminent, very close, and yeah, Edwin's just going to go all the way down to the main side like clockwork, like I had anticipated, and the ruin coming into effect onto the main generator. Now chasing Bang over at the main side using this window, bamming it instantly, and now we're going to have to play the outside where this filler is happening, and no blue sword to help us around the filler, but we've almost vaulted into the chainsaw. That could have been extremely bad, but luckily the pallet taking precedent right there, maybe some ping involved there, but pre-dropping it, and it's just going to allow Booster to make all the way down to 11 side, and Edwin's going to have none of it. He really wants to secure boosted on the hook at the moment. So do see the generator in the background proc, but unfortunately this main generator not really being able to get much progress left on it. I think they just kind of have to ditch it. We did see someone just kind of working it, and it is Cooney at the moment. So he's not the Delhi player at this time. Maybe they've opted to go for a switch around. I'm not too sure who was the Delhi. It is Weary who was hooked straight off the rip. So again, Delhi just being found at the very beginning of the game is just extremely bad. There's no Delhi here to help you out in 3v1 once boosters down, and we do see someone stealthing for the pull as well. They've been caught out, and they've been caught out in a lie. They're going to opt to go all the way down and make as much distance as possible because they know they're not doing anything, and that's just so much time wasted on their end, unfortunately. Cooney's still trying to get this middle generator done, and I just don't see it. We're going to be using balanced landing, but getting hit through it, unfortunately, via the stagger effect. I'm not even too sure if we had it ready. We might have done, but it's hard to tell with like the hit coming in at the same time. Nevertheless, going to be chasing Bang, who's going to be taking chase all the way down to the one side of the map now. Not really much for him to work with in between there and one, and now he's just going to be greeting this pallet ever so nicely, not choosing to play the window is going to allow him to make the pallet once more, and he's going to be doing a little bit of jiggy and going back to the pallet side as well. So he's just playing absolutely incredible there, but unfortunately we've seen Cooney just go straight back on that main generator. I think you just kind of have to drop this, man. I cannot lie, that gen's not getting done. You just hope that maybe Weary in the background is just pressing something like over at the 9 side, or somewhere close around there. Nevertheless, we're going to be taking chase back onto Cooney. He's going to be utilizing these rocks just in the middle of everything, and the chainsaw fate coming in. That's going to be the down onto them, but we do see some generator progress in the background over at 11, but we do manage to get the Shack done as well. That's crazy. My God. Sorry, the Shack. My God. Main done as well, and we do... okay, so it's not blocked. That was just I'm not too sure. I think that was just to say that Cooney couldn't use the window anymore. I don't remember what that is. Like that little, yeah. Nevertheless, I'm going to be taking chase back onto Bang, who's going to be going down at this pallet here and picking up And yeah, the game's just kind of slowed down after those 2 generators have pressed. But, pop, sorry, but you know, Weary definitely could pull. They could. Weary and Cooney can definitely pull this back once they get bang off the hook, Halo.
Yeah, this is I don't know, the start was looking very in favor of Edwin, but it looks like the survivors have slowly crawled back, and it looks like they were able to pop 2 generators, and this potentially we're maybe even looking at outs, because the gen spread, to be honest, isn't even that bad. I don't think, from what I saw, it's not that bad. We do have the hill gen, which is kind of in the open, which is unfortunate, but it does look like they have already set up for Cooney slash outbalance landing player to be on that generator. So um really well played from Forsaken. We are going to be playing this pallet, but I think we're just going to die. We're not going to be opting to go on the hill for our balance landing or anything. We're just going to be running in the open, trying to die as bottom as we can. And it looks like Edmund is not going to be going back. He is going to be picking Cooney, and I believe this is our only last fresh survivor. And it does look like the survivors also opted to go for the reset, and we might see a wiggle come into play. Oh
No!
my god!
That was so close. He was able to vacuum that hook as well. That's absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's definitely still outable. I mean, game's kind of slowed down just a little bit after those 2 generators have popped. But like, remember, they're just playing through the ruin as well. You gotta remember that. So, you know, Weary, take a chase with Sprint Burst all the way to the truck over at 12. Not getting hit by the chainsaw quite there. But this is just going to be a back rev, unfortunately. Not really much to run to. No edge map filler there. If there was an edge map filler at 11, he was laughing. But unfortunately, that is not the case. We do get the free pull onto Cooney, though. So, again, going to be Weary on the hook for his, I do believe that is his 2nd stage of the night. Of the night, my God. of the match. So, he will be death upon his next one at the moment, as it currently stands. We've got 7 stages for Fresh, and you know, things are still looking up for Edwin. If he is able to maintain the pressure is the only problem. And with his Blue Saw, he is able to do just that. He is able to go from point A to point B very quickly and manage to catch Bang off guard. We're going to go for a little bit of 360s, some crouch techs coming in as well, and unfortunately not quite being as effective as we would have wanted. So yeah, it will be Bang down and hooked again just outside of mid-12. This hook's just being... it's just proving to be very troublesome for our survivors here. They're just in a very bad predicament that they just can't seem to manage to get out of. But again, you always got to look up. So we're getting the fast pull onto Cooney on the side of Weary. They do have to split up from here on out. Weary's going to choose to go all the way down to the 11 side. Hopefully, Cooney's gone back on the generators over at the top side of the map. There's no pallets to work with, but we're going to do a little bit of jiggy around the car, and we're going to go around this Sin car and try to make something over at this R&L. No, it's R&L. No, it's just a hee-hee-ha-ha tire, realistically, with like the shitty pallet in the corner, not even in the middle. So not really much you can do there, unfortunately. He was just going down all day, every day, but that will be him out of the game. Weary will be gone. And this is looking like 4K1 territory, especially if we can find Bang and down Bang as soon as possible. Cooney's still trying to work that hill generator over at the mid-6 tile, so again, not really being able to do much there. So we are going to go for probably one of the last chases of the trial. Fingers crossed for the side of our killer here, but Edwin's going to commit the chase around the shack, and a very strong tile just in any way, shape, and form amongst any killer. But we're going to opt not to chase that. Edwin knows better that somebody would be working these generators, or sorry, that Bang would be working these generators over at the one side. You know, he does see the progress over at the mid-3 to the 12 side of the map, and we have seen just a stealth out from Bang over at 1, but we didn't check 1 on the side of Edwin. We've opted to go all the way down for Cooney just once more. He's going to be procking balance all the way down into the shack and not choosing to use the pallet. He's going to play the generator and make the window as well. A very nice chase nonetheless, and now that is going to be banned. He's going to be forced to use the pallet, but he's played the check spots immaculately there. Going to be faking the bamboozle window. That's crazy that you sacrificed that amount of distance for such a weird play, but nevertheless, we're going to be dropping the pallet as well, so it's all working out in our favor. Just very lucky and very fortunate that it was the case, and we're just going to try to die corner 7, so we're going to be able to get that generator done over at the 2 side of the map. Oh, sorry, mid 12 or wherever that generator at the top side is. So we should make this hypothetically, if we don't screw up any skill checks or anything else misfortunate happens. There is a lot of clutter around here, so I don't think Edwin's really going to make it in time via the chainsaw, and that's going to be another pop. And it is Cooney adrenaline on the floor? No, he's not, unfortunately. We do have life at our back pocket here, but we're not really going to be able to do much with it, unfortunately. We're going to have to try to make do with this pallet, and we're just going to play this really nicely on the side of Edwin. But bang, just being able to dominate, read the checks. Maybe should have gone for a little bit of a cheeky dumb tech there to try and make all the way down into main and try to pick up Cooney somehow, some way. And now we've opted to use life all the way over in the Z wall. But again, the down is imminent. There's nowhere to run. There's no pallets. There's no resources in the area. That's just an M1 down and a 4K0 Tycon. Put forth for our next match of this set, Halo.
That was really well played from both sides. It did seem like the survivors were gonna get like 4K2'd at one point, you know what I mean? But they ended up, you know, doing really well with the generators and stuff. And Cooney, I don't know if maybe if they started crawling a bit earlier, maybe they could have got an hatch or something. I'm not sure.
Experience and whatnot. It's been around since I can remember, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. So, you know, a lot of P100s as well. Billy, Nurse, Wesker, Unknown, Carnegie even as well, to label some of the newer killers, the more recent killers, you know. A lot of P100 survivors too. So definitely been playing a long time, but, you know, we're seeing him on the killer right now. So talking about his killer performances, he is notorious for 4King all OCE teams, in all honesty. The only ones he really struggles with probably will be like the top teams such as like Gospel and Zetsubo and whatnot. Their survivor teams are just amazing, and you know, it proves to be quite hard sometimes, but nevertheless, you know, loading into this match, gonna be spawning in. Oh, on the top side for the survivors, on the bottom side for our killer here. So boosted, loading in all the way over at 6, going to be revving up the chainsaw to go all the way down to the top side of the map. Now, can we get a snipe on one of these survivors here? We did see some spawn over at the 12, and we haven't seen anyone just yet. You know, some nice movement there to be able to dodge the collision of the tiles that seem to be in our way. Going to be checking edge map since that's a common spot. We know that boosted would know that since last game, the stealth was very prominent from our survivors, that he'd be checking every nook and cranny he possibly can. We'll have to go for something a little more aggressive. We do see that our survivor, Rayhin, is just hiding in a locker as well. That is so unfortunate, Boosted. If you're looking back on this, buddy, it happens to the best of us. Do not worry about it. How are you even meant to know that somebody's just hidden in a locker, like all the way down deep into the map? It's just not really conventional, but we do manage to catch out both survivors on the generator over at Shack. It will be 3, the captain of Ares, who'll be pre-dropping the Shack pallet and running all the way down to the hill over at this 7 side and getting absolutely tapped on this hill, unfortunately. So that'll be the first hook for him. Good start for Boosted, something that you definitely need walking into this 4K1 win con for your team. So we're going to opt to go all the way down to 4, but we're not going to really see anyone. We do see that Ruin is taking into effect that somebody has currently pre-left, but we're not going to opt to try and find them over in that side of the map. We're just going to go back and try to secure as many stages as we can. Sorry, the second stage onto this Hooked Survivor 3. So we're going to go back all the way down to the middle side of the map, and we do catch somebody just working the main generator. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the main generator because I was proved wrong last game. So nevertheless, we have caught out Rayhim, but Rayhim will be taking chase into a more optimal position for him. And I do believe that Boosted, again, trying to play protective. This is just a game of cat and mouse, as I like to put it at the moment, where you have a hook. It's very early. All you want to do is be pressing enough for survivors to get off those generators, those pesky survivors to get off the generators, but enough to also make sure that nobody's getting the unhook just underneath your nose, because as soon as you do that, you've just wasted a whole bunch of time if they get the ball straight off of just before second. And all you've done is just basically go back and forth between hooks, no downs, no hooks, no nothing. So definitely not making that mistake on the side of Boosted. We are going to be forcing second now, going all the way down to the top side of the map once more. We do see someone go 12. No, please open your eyes. You're going to get sniped. That's another clip. That's another clip for the Twitter. Put it on the Twitter, Chief. Oh my God. And we're just not paying attention, unfortunately, on the side of our Nia Eric. That is just mighty unfortunate. Probably some some janky comms there as well. And oh, where's got another snipe? Boosted going absolutely crazy. This will just be a back rev though. And we've gone from looking in a pretty good position for our survivors to looking pretty bad, unfortunately. And now we're going to go for a flick around the crane, but I can't see by the blue sword. We do get it, but the endurance status effect able to take into effect over at the crane, over this 9. You can't get the leg flick. I'm scared. I'm scared. Boosted is playing textbook Bogan Billy right now. I don't know I don't know what's more scary. A Chinese Billy, best Chinese Billy ever in Asia, or Boosted kind of Bogan hillbilly playstyle. I just don't know which one I would want to face more. They both sound scary to me, but I'm going to be pre-dropping this pallet outside of the shack and go all the way down to the mid-side of the map. We do have the dumpster filler at our disposal again, so we're going to be pre-dropping that too. We're just chewing through all of the resources. Nowhere to really go for our tunnel out here. We do see some generator progress in the background, but he's just going to be going down just before he makes the pallet over at 9. And we're just going to look for anybody stealthy for this. Oh, it's a massacre! It's a massacre. We found Rayhin just stealthing out for the pallet save. We're just too smart on the side of Boosted, and this is why he's one of the top players, OCE, just able to capitalize on what seemed to be a mistake, but never was a mistake in the first place. You know, that's definitely the play you would typically expect good players to do, you know, go for those pallet saves, especially on ping. But to kind of just find out where that person is exactly pinpoint and know that they're actually around and not go for the pickup is just mind-boggling. Like, Boosted is just playing absolutely incredible at the moment. You know, another hook onto Rayhin. That's going to spell, I do believe it's 5 stages as it currently stands. Seem to have lost a little bit of track on our production side of things, but nevertheless, we'll be seeing Eric take chase over at the main side of the building, still broken, the no-mither player, if you will, but nowhere to run to. This is just a quick tap in the out in the open. We do know that there was a run hook happening in the distance over at 9. Not able to slug because no-mither. No-mither does not allow you to slug the down survivor, because then they can pick themselves up again, obviously. So we're just going to go all the way back here. What's the deli coming into effect, actually, I do believe, on the side of Rayhin. So maybe not all things lost, but I do think maybe that Miyuzi would have just been working a generator over at 3, and he has been found over at this tile. Choosing to read the pallet as well, but I don't think this is really viable once Boosted hits the blue saw as well, so he's just given pallet possession for free. The hook kind of in the way around this car, not really optimal for Boosted, but we're going to be chewing through that pallet and not really much to work with. This is probably just going to be Miyuzi down, not being able to do as much jiggy as he was last week, unfortunately, but again, taking the pickup onto there and the next hook of the trial, and yeah, this is looking really, really bad for our survivors here, Halo.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, Boosted is just playing out of his mind. I mean, he's really locked in. He's got a death really early, and they were able to pop a gen in the mix of this massacre, as you called it. But it's just not gonna matter. Oh my god, a cross map onto the arena. Oh my lord, Boosted is so locked in right now. It's insane. That's just another hook. This is like, they're working different gens and they have a little bit of progress, but it's probably just not gonna matter. I mean, like, but Boosted that he's just hitting clips left, right, center. Like, oh my god, that's another one to the Twitter, I guess. But that was an insane cross map. 2 cross maps onto the RE survivors. So very unlucky. A beautiful vault and was able, just gonna miss that bit of a weird interaction. We see the pull in the background. It's just not gonna matter. The pressure is too much, Hunter. I think this is just probably a 4K2 or a 4K3. I don't think it's possible for these survivors to look at outs in this situation, and I'm pretty sure they most of them are, or if not 1 or 2 of them are def hook. So it's going to be very easy for Boost just to close this game out and secure this insane result.
In retrospect, for survivors to actually pull back from this, it would mean that Boosted would have to overcommit something obnoxiously weird, and then the other survivors in the background would have to do 3 generators just to proc, and it would be at the Tycon. That is a very... Yeah, that just doesn't happen, especially with a killer as high of a caliber as Boosted. But nevertheless, I digress. We'll be slugging and going all the way back after the slug. We'll trying to catch
Oh,
someone off guard. No,
God.
please, no, no. If he was gonna get pitched there, I was just gonna log off my PC and I was gonna let you cast the rest of the game while I sit back and watch the replays. That's absolutely crazy. That he, oh my God, it said peekaboo for just half a second, but you know. It just proves how dangerous that can really be on a Billy set. You really have to keep your eyes and ears peeled. Nevertheless, we're going to be chasing Yuzi once more around this pallet here, pre-dropping that in the process. Blue saw out our effect, and that's almost another flick. He's just mechanically so well. Who would have ever thought Boosted was so good on the Billy? I definitely know that I did. But nevertheless, getting down onto the Musi, you know, the MVP of the Billy sets last week, will be going on hook, so that will spell his second hook, I do believe. We might be able to get one more generator done on the side. Oh, no, that'll be his death, sorry. But we might be able to get one more generator done on the side of Eric. Getting a little bit hesitant to kind of commit that, though. Booster did traverse around the wrong side of main building, so... but I don't even know if he caught out us. Oh, he's just playing it safe and going for hatch. Gonna make sure he gets this tunnel out. What kind of gates does he have at the... I didn't see any gates proc, so I'm going to assume that that's over at like 8 and 6. If that's the case, nevertheless, we're going to take chase over at the main side of the building. But if that's the case for exit gates, that's just horrible RNG. I can't lie. But, you know, Seabass gates, I guess. And yeah, it is 6 and 8. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, this poor man. He didn't have a chance. He got cross-mapped. He's just not having a good... I don't even think Eric's playing bad. It's just Boosters has played so well and the RNG's just been so against them. And this will be going to the tiebreaker, ladies and gentlemen, which is the Demogorgon. So yeah, this is going to be absolutely crazy. And, you know, Eric playing good for what it's worth right now, but his down's just imminent, unfortunately. Is he going to be able to make the window again? I do believe he is. Yeah, it's never making that boosted, unfortunately. A little bit too much distance on... our Eric's end, our Nia's end. So he's just going to be rotating all the way down to 3. Again, there's only really one pallet for him to work with, and he doesn't choose to use it, just tries to dodge the chainsaw and doesn't work out in his favor. That will be a Mori as well for a 4K3. So, all things considered, very well played to Boosted.
Experience is the Demogorgon is a killer where you have to have some type of like experience against the killer. Like if you don't know what you're doing against the Demogorgon, you're gonna get tapped. You know, it's all about, you know, positioning. Crash tech's a really big thing for Demogorgon. We are on ping, I believe, so that might be a little bit more harder to do. But you know, it's just about positioning. You know how you path. You know, you need to get jiggy sometimes. You know what I mean? It's kind of different. Personal experiences. You know, like I would say I'm okay against the Demogorgon because I've you know, kind of devoted my whole life into this game. Um, but yeah, we are going to be loading in with Bang on the killer here. We've got the prestiged demo bar hands looking. Got the blood. That's not blood. I'm not too sure what that is. Is it like vein? It's like veins maybe. But anyway, we are going to be running a Pain Res Bam. I believe this is the same build that the last. Oh wait, sorry, no, I'm tweaking. We are going to be running Bam, Eruption, Corrupt, and Pain Res, which is a pretty standard build, I would argue. And looks like once again, RRes is going to be taking the more slower approach. When it comes to stealthing or at the or pre-gales or at the start of the game. So they are going to be crouching around, looking around. Boosted. I mean, not boosted. Bang is going to be looking around, trying to find survivors. But look at them; they're so stealthy. They're all like burritos, like copy and paste almost. Shout out Thirsty Burrito and Saint Stealth anyway. Bang is going to be teleporting back to this top side of the map, trying to find survivors, but also trying to make sure that they don't get any free progress or not too much free progress. And oh, we're getting really close to this Nicolas Cage and we catch him off guard. So we'll see how this turns out. We're insta running bottom, which is a really good death spot as all of our corrupted generators are on the bottom side of the map. So if we can have a good chase here, I believe all of our survivors here are probably already set up for generators. A beautiful greed right there from Nicolas Cage is gonna be able to prolong that chase just a little bit more. Maybe we should have just pre-dropped it though, as that could have been a really good start. As like I said, I think all of the survivors kind of just slowly rotated to the top side of the map, and they could have had a really big advantage there. But obviously, they did have to take time to steal the portals and whatnot. So that's fair enough. But we are going to see Bang here rotate to this 11 side of the map. Kicking this generator is looking around just a little bit, not too interested. Having a little flick back to his hook, and we are going to be pulling right here. We're going to be pulling this Nicolas Cage and baiting the drop right there, getting a very nice free tag on the way to following Nicolas Cage. And we're playing the bad side of the tile for some reason.
You
Oh
just
no.
slid off that.
That was a very nice use of the Demogorgon right then. We're gonna have Nicolas Cage already back on the hook. The second time has been hooked, and this is looking really good for Bang, to be honest. Um we are also starting to work Shack, which is a little bit of an interesting choice considering that we do have the hook right there, and that means that a little bit of wasted time right there, unfortunately. So Bang is probably going to go back to this 11 generator to see if he can make sure that there's not too much progress. It doesn't seem like it has much progress as well, at all, as I believe Eric was the one on this. So we should see about 2 gens pop fairly soon. Probably that free generator, I can assume.
Gives me 9.
Or 9, sorry. um, but yeah, Hunter, it's looking pretty good for the Demogorgon right now.
Yeah, it's looking good for Bang, and this is what I was talking about a little bit before earlier on in the game. Early on before the game rather. It's just 2 quick taps onto the bro. Unfortunately, Miyuzi, and we're all in for a world full of trouble. I get trying to greed the pallets as well, just trying to preserve the resources, not using them too early because you don't really have much to work with once they're gone. But nevertheless, we're going to be getting this trade on the side of 3. Again, we're just going to opt to slug that and go for the tunnel out onto Miyuzi. He's going to be rotating all the way down to the 9 side using this car pallet. And now he's really going to have to start using the pallets that he's given. He can't really afford to greed, and he's just not going to be making that dumpster filler, unfortunately. And that will be him out of the game at, what seems to be 2 generators done in the background, so 3 generators remaining. We have the infamous 4K3 as it currently stands. Using the pain res onto 3 instead of opting to go for the tunnel out onto our Nicolas Cage Miyuzi, who's going to be crawling all the way to the pallet now. We did see someone rotate the bottom side. I'm wondering if there's stealth around for the pallet save. I don't think so, no. We've opted to go for the pull instead, and that will be that. So Miyuzi out of the game at 3 generators remaining. This is looking like it's 4K2, 4K3 territory on the Demogorgon, who, keep in mind, is tier 5. But nevertheless, we'll be going all the way down to 11 to see if we can spot anybody just working this generator, taking the eruption proc onto that. And it's important to note that this is a different build from what you would have seen yesterday. Okay, so there is a stock standard corrupt intervention, pop goes the weasel, bamboozle, and eruption. Alongside the Barb's glasses and rat liver to help out with the shreds and whatnot, the shred cooldown of the Demogorgon. So yeah, just this is very old school textbook demo gameplay. No hex totems, no ruin pentimento, blood favor on whatever you've been seeing currently. But yeah, we're just trying to see the last remaining stealthing survivors, which is only no, actually no, we did manage to get the bro off the hook. Okay, so Raheem just injured but still off of the hook at the moment. But it might be Deerheart. I'm not too sure what that add-on is there. It's kind of hard to tell with this pack, unfortunately. But yeah, regardless, these add-ons don't really change as much. Nevertheless, we'll be going all the way down to bottom 6, and still not really finding anybody at the moment. They're kind of just playing it very safe, very slow. We did see a reset happen on in the background, and I do believe that was onto our future tunnel out, or what seems to be our future tunnel out. Again, very stagnant for the killer at the moment, so just trying to play it very patiently. And we do find Eric around the pile at Shack, and just very lucky to dodge that hit on the side of Eric. Going to be vaulting the Shack window now. Not really much to work with once that happens. Does have the dumpster filler over at 7, but I do feel Bang is going to be able to play around this very nicely, going in and out of the pallet, not really quite catching them off guard. But we're going to be body blocking as well really, really well. But we get auto-aimed on the Bridgestone tires. No! Oh, they usually work in our favor, but right now they're just not doing us any justice on the side of our killer. But that will be another down. The eruption proc in the background. It's just it's just a 50-50 game on whether he goes to the right generator or not, whether it gets popped or if not. So after this hook, if he goes to 5, he maintains the pressure holding up to his 4K3 after this pain raise. But if he doesn't, it's potential for that generator just to pop if we do let our Nia Eric cook on hook per se. So we are going to take this kick onto 11, and we do see the scratch marks rotating over into 12 now, but we're not going to opt to chase that. We're going to go back to our hook. Probably even got to check around that generator over at 5. Probably would be the smart play. We know 6 isn't being worked. But we do see 3 actually go for the unhook, so we've caught him out. I know everything is what Nortor said when that happened last night. So some trivia for you people, but nevertheless, 3's going to be making work of this pallet. Zoning 3 back into the map is Bang, going to be continuing on the chase over at 3. Now, not really much to run with, and he's going to have to do a little bit of jiggy, and does so nicely to be able to make that vault on the T wall, but unfortunately going down at the L wall, as there is not really much room for him to move straight after. We do see the double in the background happening over at 11, so once this hook happens, obviously it's pretty safe to say that we'll be able to get another down straight off the bat. Instead of going for the reset, they've opted to go for gen pressure, which is really interesting. And after this happens, you're not scared of pain res. Do believe he's already been pain res anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But we're going to be playing this crane pallet here over at 11. The crane nice and in the corner there. But we've opted to just kind of completely greed it as well on the side of Eric, who'll be playing this jungle gym here. And just playing this window too very nicely, just being able to break away and make all the way down to the bottom side. And we're going to continue on this chase. I don't think that dumps has really been thrown, so there is pallets in our vicinity to be working, but unfortunately not being able to do the jiggy around the jiggy on the side of Eric. And I do think they'll be going down very soon here, not being able to make the pallet over at 6. So maybe that 3 and Raihin are going for another double on a generator in the background somewhere as we get this down. And they do. They managed to get 5 done as well. So there's a 3 gen. Again, it is the infamous 4K1 in this scenario with only 2 survivors in the game at the moment. So we do have Shaq, do have 6, do have 7. With a hook right smack bang in the middle. Not good news for the survivors, unfortunately. And he did manage to find the reset, see the reset in the background ever so slightly, but 3's just going to break away from the misshred and go all the way down to the top side. We do see Rahim just, and again, jiggying on 180 MS. My God, okay, these guys are goated, insane. But going to be taking this tag onto Raihin, who's going to be running all the way down back into corner 5. We do know that they're going for the pull on the side of our survivors in the background, and Bang choosing not to have any of it. He's going to commit the chase onto Raihin, unfortunately. And again, it's not really much to him to work with going down at the truck here. And now the pick happening. I'm not too sure if they, I think they might opt to slow the game down here, or potentially are they trying to push through? It'd be weird to push through generators in a scenario like this, because if we manage to find Eric here, Halo, it's just bad news bears. Yeah, I thought they'd go for a little bit of a reset, so we're just going to go back to hook.
So we do see Bang, sorry, my mic was muted, Hunter. We do see Bang teleporting all the way back, and we have been able to pop, I believe it was 2 generators in the 3v1, which is really well played from the survivor side. But from now on out, it's getting to the point where, you know, like Eric is on def hook, and it's more than likely probably going to be a 4K1 even. But the point is, they were able to squeeze out 2 generators in the 3v1, which was really well played, and we can even see maybe a better result. So we are going to be seeing Bang teleporting all the way back to the 5 side of the map, and we are going to be taking the chase onto 3, missing that shred very unluckily, and ooh, bad timing on the vault right there. And it does look like we are going to be giving a tag, but a beautiful crouch tech right there, right behind the generator, is going to probably delay the tag. And most likely, probably just going to be sending it top, as that is most likely the best def spot. And we see the reset as well onto Zarina. So I mean, the survivors are playing out of their mind, if I'm being honest. I mean, they're having pretty decent chases, and they're starting to catch up on the pressure. And if I'm not sure if this person is deaf or not, in a beautiful fake, he's gonna be able to perfectly fake out bang, and then we're gonna slow vault it, and very unlucky on the timing, but we're gonna miss it. And we're getting so much pressure right now from this amazing chase from Free. We're even gonna make it all the way back. And this is such a good chase. It might even force Bank to leave, and it does. Oh my god, Hunter, that was a really good chase. And the survivors were able to get quite a bit of free progress from that.
They were able to get a little bit of progress all the way over at 7, but I do feel we overcommitted just a little bit onto 3. We had no real reason to chase him over there in corner 11. He's not really doing much if he's just stuck there. We do have access to this window off of the top of that hill just sitting outside of Shack, so very nice work from Bang to be able to kind of use it like that. But not really finding anybody. They're playing it very slow, and this is kind of how you have to play it. This is how I'm kind of stressing my team on how to play this set as well. Just make sure that you make getting those resets in. As soon as we're pushing generators injured, it's just bad news bears. But not really able to catch the reset, unfortunately. We're gonna go to 11, not find it, and go straight back to our generators. We do have 2 survivors on Death Hook at the moment, so if we could find 3 or Eric and get like a quick tag, don't get too complacent with over committing the chase just to get the down. Just make sure you get it quick and lovely, but as soon as that happens, we'll be in a really good position on the side of Bang. Just having them 3v1 at 1 generator remaining is just proving to be a little bit difficult. He does have a really nice 3-gen though in Eruption at his disposal to do. Maybe it is the build just like really suffering at the moment. I mean, yeah, it's, when those totems are up and the other perks that you choose to bring into this map, it can be pretty problematic if you don't find them, even more so than the build brought into this trial. But we don't have really access to pain res at the moment. I think the only survivor that's pain resable is Raihin, and we don't find Raihin. We found Eric, who's just playing around the smash hit at the moment in this jungle gym, making nice work of that. I wonder if anybody's actually rotated to the 6 side. It doesn't seem like it, because it seems like there's scratch marks going into 3 and scratch marks going into 6. If we can get this quick down and this quick hit and this quick down onto Raihin, get the pain res going as well, it's going to be really good for Bang. But kind of getting a little bit mind gamed in our heads. But that will be the eruption proc on both generators in the background. So if they're doubling that, that's going to be pretty bad on their end. And we're going to see another pain res come in on the side of Raihin. Is that going to happen just in time? We do see Eric just spamming out this gen in the background. And yeah, pain res has saved our hide once more. We do know that that scream happened all the way over in the 7 corner of the map. Now we're going to be traversing there on the side of our killer Bang. We do see the scratch marks leading into all the way into 11, so some nice pre-leaving going on by the Survivor team at the moment. Their RNG actually isn't too bad either. They have Pallet Gym, Jungle Gym, and Crane Filler as well. I haven't seen any like bullshit, just middle pallets, hee ha tiles as we like to call them. So maybe there is one over at 2, over at 3. I didn't really get a close look at that, but maybe we just eat this tag and go back to our gens, or no? Okay, we know that they reset in the background, so we can commit this chase just a little bit longer. I don't want to say like too much longer. I think as soon as we get this down, we need to go straight back to the middle of the map, because there's no real reason to pick up and get a hook here. But we're really struggling to get this last down onto our survivor here. They're not able to make the dumpster filler, and I do believe they'll just be doubling the shack. Is he going to pick as well? He does. They're not doubling the shack. Okay, we've opted to go for 7. Split pressure, so Raihin's also working a generator from start to finish with nothing. It is shack though, so we'll be taking the kick onto that as well, applying eruption there. And again, we're at a 2v1 with 1 generator remaining. We do see 3 trying to cross over into 11, but we're going to be trying to cut him off on the side of Bang. He's just going to be playing the check box really nicely with this down pallet in the way of the path of our killer. So we're going to get rid of that. Raihin probably in his best interest to hop back on Shack at this point in time. So 3's just going to be rotating all the way into the map over at the bottom side. Not chasing. Oh, no, it was Raihin over at bottom 6. Okay, so we're committing the chase here. Bang struggling to get the first hit down onto Raihin, who's just going to be Utilizing, yeah, this is just a really nice filler. If you still got access to this filler late game, it can prove to be pretty problematic. We're gonna go all the way to edge map 6 as well. So three's probably just on sitting on that generator in the background. Probably gonna eat this tag, maybe go back. I know I wouldn't commit this, but nevertheless, I think we've opted to commit this. Just hope that we have eruption on the generator, and we don't. We just opted to go all the way back down to 7 and take the kick onto there. And maybe the survivors play slow for another reset. I'm not too sure where you go from here. Maybe break in, just sit 6, and 3's just kind of rendered obsolete at the moment. He's going all the way down to 12. There's no real reason to chase 3 on the side of Bang. But if we can get Rake in and get a quick tag onto him straight off the rip, that'll be really good in our favor. But we don't manage to see him on a generator over at bottom 6, and we do have eyes over at 7. Yeah, this is pretty dire for the survivors. I think maybe Ray Hin's rotating over at the bottom side for a reset, and he is. He is trying to find 3, who is being caught out over at 7. Yeah, the 3-gen scenario is just really proving to be a little too strong, and they're just really struggling to get out. It was definitely doable for them, but we'll be going down on the side of 3, who will be dying all the way in corner 11. We do see Rayhin trying to greed for this generator over at 7, but I think Bang's a little too smart for that, and he's going to try and secure the 4K1. We see the blood pools happening, and we vaulted the window using the bamboozle. And just with such a defensive build, we managed to pull a very, very nice result for a nice win con for our Survivor team loading into next match, Halo.
Yeah, that was really well played from both sides. That was a really long game. But a 4K1 result, probably more better for the killer side, more better for Forsaken. As I would argue, it's probably just maybe a little bit more better than average or what you would want to see. So we are going to be waiting for this Mori, and Demogorgon is a little bit of lore about me, but Demogorgon's when I first watched my okay, I was hoping you would ask me this, to be honest. I think our res, alright, even though in the tipping I've voted against them, I kind of went with the crowd. I think they lock in, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is gonna be a 4K2 result. We need to remember the only performance we've seen from the killers have been crazy. So I'm just someone that also because I just want to like be on the opposite side of you. Obviously, you said you want Forsaken to win. I think, honestly, I think they have it in the bag. I think this is going to be a 4K2. It's ping and they're killers. I mean, so far they've been insane. I mean, they had Edwin on the hillbilly. They were insane, and thought the other guy, it's getting really late. Anyways, we see Soyo here placing some portals near the bottom side of the map. And just looking around the top, maybe we've seen someone potentially, because we seem pretty eager to get to this 9 tile, and we see Cooney here at this 9 pallet. Looks like they are going to be going to this 10 little car pallet instead of using it, and hopefully they can have a good start. That's definitely what they need if they wanted to win. Obviously, I forgot, was it a 4K1 or a 4K0 hunter? I'm sorry.
What, for the killer or the survivors? There's a 4K1 Tycon.
Ah, okay. Well,
Survivors pop all gens, killer has the 4K2. But this start at the moment, it's actually not the worst thing in the world, but it's obviously not the greatest of all time because no generators have popped. Hopefully we're getting adequate gen pressure in the background, but we have dragged all the way into 12, so we are. Not too sure if it is Pain Res at our disposal with Pain Res, Call O'Brien, Eruption, and I don't think I mentioned Corrupt, but we don't get Shack done. I mean, they're trying to press for the Shack gen, and like general rule of thumb is if you're not getting Shack done right off the rip for the first chase, just ditch it. Like, it's just not worth it. It's so centralized. It's so easy to like just maintain a hold of, and sorry. Peng is just going to eat a free tag because of it, unfortunately, and that's going to be the Eruption proc on the side of Sawyer. He's going to go all the way back to his hook, and he has a nice hill here over at 12. What the hell? I mean, we saw something similar yesterday. It's just really obnoxious that that's just in the way. It seems to be spawning all the time throughout these Demogorgon sets, but we're going to be taking another Shred Tag onto Weary. Doesn't have really much to work with, and he has this pallet pre-dropping it, making nice work of that. We're not going to opt to chase him. We're going to go for the second stage onto our Survivor Cooney on the hook at the moment. So yeah, looking pretty rough. And look at the, just look at the, it's just so fortunate for the survivors that there's no generators really around this hill halo because I swear if there was one at 12 one at 1 and the other generators weren't all on the bottom side, this would be really bad. It's kind of a fast spread for what it's worth, in all honesty. This is nothing deep 12. But yeah, so at least it's looking a little bit up for us survivors. But our killer is just in a really good position at the moment, having another hook. So we're going to opt to go all the way back into the shack. We're still trying to get it done. This is kind of crazy. But that just only really puts in my mind that they will be 3 splitting. So there probably will be somebody working over at that 9 side as well. And we do hear it had just started. It is somebody who is injured. So might be either Weary or Bang. It is, I do believe that is Bang on the Kate here. Yes, it is, and just going to be getting a little bit mind gamed here on the broken 4 walls. So going down, not the worst thing in the world to be that far away from the hook, but we just to make sure that Cooney doesn't get found right off the bat, and hopefully can last a little bit longer in their chases. I know Booster's going to try and keep them alive, probably going to be playing pallet saves, but we're going to be eating that endurance status effect, kind of miscalculating it maybe. It's giving Cooney just unnecessarily amounts of distance all the way down to deep 6. He's going to be pre-dropping this filler pallet, his pallet gem, going all the way down to the dumpster filler once more and dropping that as well. So just chewing through these resources that probably will help us late game to kind of last a little bit longer. Does somebody come in for a body? Is there a head on in the lockers or something of the sort? But no, Cooney's just going to be dying deep 6, and again, another tunnel out at 3 generators remaining. The 3v1 happening at 3 generators remaining. It's looking fairly bad for us survivors. It's just a matter of, can Sawyer hold on to the generators more than what Bang could have. So it's a 3v1 with Weary boosted and Bang. Can Weary boosted and Bang do a better job of what 3 Raheem and I'm sorry, I forgot the other person. I do believe it was Eric. Not Miyuzi. Miyuzi was tunnel out last game. So can they do a better job of what was done last game? It's just going to be a real battle here from here on out. We're going to be placing another portal over at 3, trying to look for somebody who is working this generator. It is going to be boosted who's choosing to stealth around that 5 side. We do see Weary just working over at the 11 side as well. So nice split pressure. I think they're in a little bit of a better position just with their gen spread and the fact that everybody's healthy at this point of the tunnel out. So the next chase has to be good from the survivor's end. And Sawyer, on his side, he really needs to be able to maintain the pressure, meaning the next down has to be fairly quick, otherwise everything gets spiral out of control. And with a hit like that onto onto Bang, sorry, it's definitely doable, but we've opted to just take the tag and leave. We do have 3 stacks of pain res left at our disposal. There is a Call of Brine procced onto 11 as well, so unfortunately for Weary, just getting caught out on the bus, on the truck rather, sorry. I do hate this loop myself. No crane there, so really unfortunate to not be able to use that. And we do see Bang, who was also coming back for the generator. We've just kind of ran into the active, unfortunately, and Weary's just going to be dying corner 7 as well, so picking up Weary now, this is looking extremely bad. We do have 1 on the hook, 1 injured, and 1 healthy. Maybe boosted just in the background, working a generator, but can he get it popped just before we reach the pain res is the question. And just, 3, 2, 1, no. We have made the call though, so it was a really good call from Weary to say he's being hooked. Not greeting it on the side of boosted is very nice as well. So Sawyer picking up on the fact that, I don't know how he would have thought that that was the generator being worked, but kudos to him. No screams there. And the nice crouch tech coming in from Boosted, but that's going to spell another injure onto our Survivor team here. So everybody injured at the moment is just really bad. We're just going to have to take it a little bit slower and reset as the generator over at 3 regresses in the background. And now just getting mind gamed at this tile over at mid 11 is just proving to be so difficult for Boosted to work around. And that's going to be his down as well. Sawyer just in a really big power position as it currently stands. Weary getting reset in the background. I wonder if they're going to do the same to Bang. Again, that gen's just going to be eating another pain res, and we're opting to work the Shack generator again. Now, I think this is where the Survivor team's going a little bit wrong here. They really need to drop that generator. It's just a little too central to what everywhere being worked. Everywhere the killer is kind of just patrolling at the moment. And again, eating another eruption proc onto that generator as well. So the next down is going to be regressing that even further. And with Bang just injured, with Boosted injured at the same time, Weary's the only one in the trial who's going to make that task difficult for the eruption proc onto these generators. So I don't think he's going to opt to chase Weary, though. It's in his best interest to chase an injured survivor. And like we had seen, I do believe that Bang is just in this vicinity, but slowly rotated away from our killer, which is very nice. But we have managed to catch out Booster, just trying to work that 3 generator again, trying to work the edge map filler. Not really much to do here, just kind of preemptively panic vaulting back into the killer. That is the eruption proc onto Shack. Again, we probably need to drop that Shack generator. This is the problem that I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's just, we chewed through so many resources at the beginning of the match. There's nothing really for us to work with, just a bunch of weak pallets. With no access to any exhaustions and, all this ping involved, it just proves to be pretty difficult for the survivors to really work around. At least that's the way that I'm seeing it currently. So, going to be taking another kick onto the Shack generator, and it's just getting absolutely just humped at the moment. And not in the good survivor way, like in the bad killer kick all the time way, do damage via eruption, whatever. Now we're going to be chasing onto Bang once more all the way down in 7, and Crouch taking that very nicely, but playing a little bit of mind games, cutting off Bang on the side of Sawyer, another eruption proc onto Shack generator, and 3 just struggling to get done on the side of Boosted. And that's going to be Bang, I do believe. No, on second stage, not out of the game. I do believe it is Boosted who will be out of the game upon next hook. So, again, the game's so very stagnant on the survivors end. It's just extremely hard to come back from this. We have managed to get rid of a teleport on the 3 side, but we do know that Booster's now over there working that generator. And with access to absolutely nothing, we're going to be using this cracker in the face of our Demogorgon Sawyer. And that's just going to be a tap over in the corner of 1. So, we've tried to make as far away from the generators as possible. Just with access to nothing, it's just very hard for them to really get out of this situation. Now the 2v1 at 3 generators remaining, you'd almost just think that this is a 4k3, and it definitely is looking that way. I mean, with just 3 in main just being attacked all the time, it's just very hard to get those generators done. It's like... I just can't really put it into words at the moment, but Ben kind of accepting that he's just going to be working this, I believe this is 9 generator, and we have spotted it out. Bang on the side of Sawyer, who will be vaulting this window over into the edge map, and now trying to use Urban Evasion to get in a more favorable position to where the killer can't see us from the window. And we're going to be making that pallet as well, so we're going to be trying to drag Chase all the way down to bottom 6, but we're not going to be chasing that on the side of Sawyer, playing it very, very defensively. He wants to secure this 4k3, so we have found Weary just working boosters gen, and again, this is just so dead in this 1 to 3 area. 12 as well, just with the pallet already been thrown. I'm not too sure if this one was thrown. I do believe it was, so at least on the other side, but that will be Weary down as well. Bang just trying to play as good as he can. The best possible result at the point in time was a 4k2, but unfortunately going down so early on into it, it's just probably a 4k3. I can't lie to you, Halo.
Yeah, it's really looking that way. I mean, we have Wearing on Death Hook now, and it doesn't look like they have done as good as Res in their 3v1, unfortunately. Not even being able to pop any generators potentially, although we're still in the game. I believe both of the survivors are Death Hook, so it does look like a killer player is just going to be going for Weary here. His BT is going to run out, and he's just going to go straight down on the floor. We have about 50% of progress on this generator at 11, but it does look like, or maybe that was an 11, maybe that was 1. No, it is 11. It doesn't look like our killer saw, I guess. Okay, doesn't look like Sawyer saw the generator on 11 being worked. So looks like they're just gonna be going back, seeing what's um potential generator they're gonna be on, and running right beside his is Bang, but we are finally gonna find Bang, and this is probably just gonna be the 4K free. We can go and pick up Wary, but at the end of the day, it's just not gonna mean a lot. Um, he's just gonna be going straight down on the floor, and this is gonna be the final chase of the game. Getting a little bit mind game there, a little bit of bad check spots, and that is gonna be all of the survivors on the floor or dead. That's the 4K free. So if I'm not wrong, that's going to be the win to RS, the massive underdogs. Obviously, 99% of people voted for, um, or practically everyone voted for Forsaken to win. But it's always lovely to see the underdogs win.
Yeah, definitely. In taking the win, they definitely did, Halo. But that will be that. Unfortunately for our friends in Forsaken, they weren't able to take it home. It will be a 2-1 victory towards ARES. Very well played by the Chinese demons themselves. But yes, that will be it for today. Unfortunately for everyone, it is reaching the 8-hour mark once again for stream. Not as many tiebreakers this time, so we're not heading into a 10-hour stream. You know, uh, thank God to some degree. But it's always a pleasure doing this and like casting and doing all the refing and setting this all up for you guys and even streaming. So that being said, stay tuned for tomorrow. You know, Blink In will be again live. If you're a dad, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the father figures out there. We love you all, and thank you everybody for coming to watch these games today. It's been an absolute blast. I hope that tomorrow will kind of be